in Greenfield
because I
was desperately trying to find a copy of Tactics Ogre Reborn physical for the Switch.
Yeah.
Because that's the perfect place for Tactics Ogre Reborn. It's not a visual game, really. Even the remake. And there was the limited edition God of War PS5.
No shit.
That's awesome.
Like
just
in the
sitting
wild?
there in the wild. She's like, you could buy it if you wanted. And I sat there for like a couple minutes, like debating what my bills were going to be for the rest of the month.
That would have been a massive flex on me to just show up with a God of War PlayStation 5.
Well,
I was going to wait for it. But
Jordan was with me, and I even said that, and she's like, well, why didn't you buy it? And I'm like, it was $700. I literally have like $780 in my bank account right now. I'm like, this would have been a real tight, thread the needle type of scenario financially. And I was also like, I don't even want to play it.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Elden Dogs, your favorite podcast about Elden Ring and hangovers and Elden Ring. Mm-hmm. At least I'm a little hungover today. My name is Gideon Offnear, also known as Brad, the All-Douchey, and I'm here to talk about Elden Ring and celebrate with my boys.
Cheers.
Who else is here?
I'm Alexander Iron Fist, and today I don't have a belly full of bodies. I got a belly full of high life.
Hey.
Or the remnants of last night.
What did you do last night?
I hung out with my mom and my stepdad and my brothers. We had my brother's baby shower. So
like a kegger?
I showed up to a baby shower with a case of beer.
Tall brother? Tall brother?
Yeah, he's like super tall. I thought you were going to high five me for the beer. I was like ready to go.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
High life.
No, but yeah, I got a belly full of high life. I'm not feeling too good.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
I got a Gatorade.
I had quite a bit of high life last night.
We're experienced. I'm not hungover again. I'm the only one who doesn't seem to be hungover at these things.
You're nailing it, dude.
I'm Gold Mask. I show up sometimes to stare at the Erd tree and say nothing.
You're just always pointing at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We are part of the HyperX Podcast Network. For more information, check out podcast.hyperx.com. And today is a very special Thanksgiving edition of Elden Dogs. Tomorrow, the day after this comes out, is Thanksgiving. So, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And we're drinking a couple beers that are kind of Thanksgiving-ish.
Cool.
Yep. This first one is Strawberry Rhubarb from New Glarus Brewing. It's a fruit beer with strawberry and rhubarb. Sits at 4%.
Sure.
One of my favorite beers.
Is it really?
Yeah, I do love this. It's my favorite New Glarus for sure. So, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Tyler's already digging in.
Yeah, it smells good.
He's got
It smells so good.
And while this isn't standard fare for Elden Dogs, Tyler, you have played Ragnarok.
Yeah, 12 hours in.
Oh, yeah. We were going to talk about this. I don't care about it.
Yeah, it's
right
fine.
now. We're talking about Ragnarok a little bit.
It is blowing every expectation I had out of the water. Like, I thought it was going to be good, but they made a couple choices. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to be very vague. They made a couple choices that I really, really enjoy early on in the game, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. But I'm about 12 hours in, and I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of any... Like, I don't even have a heavy runic attack yet. And it's 12 hours. I haven't even found one. And I'm a good looter.
Okay.
So, I so far, 10 out of 10. I'm loving it.
Cool.
And, Dylan, you've been playing Tactics Ogre.
Tactics Ogre Reborn. It's kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics. I believe it came afterwards, and it was kind of a successor. Tactics, did that sell well?
Tactics Ogre?
No. Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm sorry.
I don't know sales numbers. I know it's just cult status, though. It's a very beloved game. I'm not sure what the sales numbers were like back in the day, though.
It's a very good video game. One of the things I always forget when I start an RPG, and especially a tactical RPG, is just how little utility you have early on. And so I'm going through this campaign, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I can only do this much. I can't do a bounce attack or do any of this crazy stuff. I'm loving it. I have to play a bit more to figure out what it's going to be on my big list.
On the big list.
My top 10s.
Yep. Is it going to make your top 10 of the year?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Okay.
I mean, games like this are just delicious candy to me.
Mm-hmm.
8 hours in and I got it yesterday, if that says anything.
Wow. Yeah.
You'd be more if it wasn't for that double date you had to do.
Yeah, well,
Married life.
I'll tell you. I mean, I didn't have fun drinking Japanese beer and eating a buttload of sushi.
Well, Japanese beer made in San Francisco or somewhere.
That's fine. I love Kirin Ichiban, though.
Yeah. I mean, I always get Ichiban just because it makes me think of Yakuza, like a dragon.
And you guys say, yes, big curly hair.
Oh, yes, this is a year expired, it says on the thing, and it was made in California.
Yeah.
That was my experience, but what are you going to do?
The line did taste a little dry. I was at Hamburger Mary's on Friday night,
Okay.
and I asked for a spotted cow from the tap. Biggest mistake of my life. You know how like if you don't clean out the line by pouring one out every once in a while, it dries up and gets really gross.
I know. We know.
Yes.
It's fucking. I drank this thing, and I just went, "Ugh," and I'm like, dude, you can't serve. Like, I talked to the bartender. I'm like, I know it's not your fault because you probably only work like 2 days a week.
Yeah.
But like this has to be like cleaned.
The lines just probably aren't cleaned in general. Who knows? I wouldn't speak ill of a place, but
I'm going to assume.
yeah. I miss Mary's Beercade.
I liked the beercade.
The Beercade was cool.
Yeah.
We're here, though, to talk about Elden Ring, because that's what I've been playing. I have actually just become more obsessed, I believe.
I didn't think that was possible.
Well, I just made a list of all of the... Well, I'm getting ready for New Game Plus for my main character and waiting for DLC, but there are certain things that carry over in New Game Plus, like all your weapons and runes, certain like bell bearings, equipment. There are certain things that you want to make sure to farm everything you can in this before going to New Game Plus because items are limited in some ways. So I made a list of like probably 70 weapons I don't have yet.
Damn.
And I'm farming them. Some of them require farming, and they have a 0.5% drop rate.
Oof.
And so...
Yeah.
And I kind of just want to get them all and just so I can look through like the lore and the designs, and it's a stupid level of obsession I'm reaching. I'm liking it though, so that's all that matters.
As long as you're enjoying it. Is this becoming like a podcast thing for you, where you flip on a podcast and then you start farming,
or records? I can just play some music and then just space out. But I will say the worst thing so far has been the Albinoric shortbow. You only can get it in the consecrated snowfields from Albinoric archers, the lady archers that ride wolves, and there's 4 of them in one spot, and they just pelt you. And I was there for a long time.
Did you get it yet?
I got it.
Nice.
Yeah, I've gotten everything so far. Some things you missed though, like certain quest lines you can only get if you help Selen or you help Jaren. So you actually have to do a second playthrough to get some things. And you can get the famed Dung Eater Spirit Ashes, but it's very difficult, and you have to trick him into drinking the potion that was made for Nefeli. And I want to get that Dung Eater Spirit Ash so I can just summon...
I almost did it.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. If you still have the potion, you can like force feed it to him instead of giving him the death seed bed curse, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elden Ring stuff. Yeah, we're going up the Altus Plateau today. Mm-hmm. And
arguably the most visually interesting part of the game.
What do you find so visually exciting about it?
It's the rich hills. It's these giant spears in the ground. It just looks like a broken battlefield. It's got fall colors.
I love the colors.
Rich yellows and oranges. And
very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. And there's like these, like, because you're closer to the Erd Tree, there's like these weird lights shining down at all times. I mean, I like it. I think it looks gorgeous. It was the first time in the game where I truly went like, holy crap. Like, what is this?
When I first got there, I was like, oh, yeah, I like this. This is my vibe. And then, unfortunately, though, I feel like I didn't spend enough time there because I was like, I want to get to the capital.
Yeah.
So I kind of like really rushed through the plateau. I've gone back and done some stuff, but like I should have stuck around longer the first time.
Sure.
I think my first playthrough, I did one run. Like, I ran through and just hit whatever spots were in front of me, but I was on my way somewhere. I was trying to get to the Volcano Manor. I was trying to get to the Royal Capital. So going back, I was like, there's a lot that I missed here. Plus,
There's a ton of stuff, yeah.
my first time there, I was like, this is the end of the game. Like, I'm up high. Like, I've gotten to, this is clearly the end. And then there was all of these soldiers lined up right when you come off of the Dectus lift. And I was like, this is the most intense shit I've ever seen. And just looking back now, it's easy as shit. And there's like 50 dudes. But I thought that it was like they had pulled out all the stops from preventing me from like moving forward.
Sure.
So, and you do the classic, jump on your horse and just ride through, and then you just don't get a lot of the context of what's happening here.
There's so many golden seeds in this area.
Yep, you're closer to the Erd Tree, so they're going to be more around. And like you had mentioned, Dylan, one of the coolest things about this area is this was one of the major battlefields for like the Shattering. We're at the gates of the royal capital. This is where you're trying to get to the base of the Erd Tree. And this is where like battles happen. You mentioned the giant spears in the ground. It's actually, a lot of those are from chemical warfare. We're going to talk about perfumers.
Oh, yeah.
Those fuckers.
I've said it 1,000 times. I'm a big pothead, big cracked pots guy. Love crafting. I love greasing.
But you're not a vile boy.
Just at that point, I had so much going on. I'm like, you cannot expect me to learn another thing.
Yeah.
I have got so much going on right now. You cannot throw vials at me. Literally, don't do it. They hurt. And B, like, I don't have time for this.
Perfumers are crazy. They actually drink their poison and then they'll like spit it at you. That's a lot of their perfumes that they use requires them to put it in their mouth first, which
doesn't help that they dodge like assassins.
They're like they just go back and like throw glitter at you.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Like, what is going on?
quit moving, you fucking assholes. But there's two ways to get up to the Altus Plateau. We're going to take the main one first and go up the Grand Lift of Dectus. You got the two pieces of the medallion.
How many people actually do that before actually going up like the caverns?
I think I did the ruin-strewn precipice the first time.
I did as well.
Is that with the giant fire dragon thing?
Yep, the magma worm.
That's where I went.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a better entrance almost.
It's more exciting. Yeah. Like you're going up the side. There's all these like precarious like wood platforms.
Yeah, and I just kept thinking like at that point I'm like, please, for the love of all that's holy, give me a sight of grace. I do not want to climb this motherfucker again.
And then you hear the bat lady that's just singing the song. You're like, no, I'm not going to go closer to her.
No.
But then you do.
Then you do, and then 20 bats jump down on you.
Yeah.
Hey, if you got lightning, babe, zip.
You got everything.
Zip. They're dead.
Yeah, Loretta's Great Bow has been my saving grace this playthrough because it's got such range.
It used to be a really long pullback.
Yeah, it is still a long pullback, okay. But that's how I like instigate enemies from super far away, and then I can draw them over. Speaking of range, I watched a video the other day about the crayfish. They're not technically lobsters; they're crayfish, but their projectile can go 5,000 meters.
Jeez.
Like it'll go a long straight line. It doesn't like go at all. The little sniper shots.
Really?
Yep. So the trick is to just like get some sort of geometry between you and that, but they will shoot you from a fucking distance.
Follow too. Like I remember zigzagging and then I went full Rick and Stark at the end and it still hit me and I was like, that was like 20 minutes ago. Where have you been?
Yeah. But especially when you're deep below the capital, which we're not talking about today, but those ones can absolutely wreck your house.
I hate that. The subterranean
it's almost luck.
shutting grounds.
It's almost luck.
Right outside the Grand Lift of Dectus, if you made friends with little cute Raya, who is not a snake lizard woman for sure.
Yeah.
She'll be there. She's like, hey, you made it up here. And she'll teleport you right to the Volcano Manor.
Yeah.
They really want you to go to the Volcano Manor.
If you can find her. She's despite the fact that she's near a main road, she's still very difficult to find.
Luckily, I was in like exploration mode. So I was like, she's on like a little set of ruins, right? Right off the road there.
There's two spots she can be. So she can be outside of where you come up with the ruin-strewn precipice, or she can be right outside the Grand Lift of Dectus, depending on how much you've talked to her and where you emerge.
Yeah,
she is fairly hidden if you come up the other side.
Yeah, but luckily I was like, let me check this shit out real quick. Like, I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
So I bounced around there and found her and was like, hell yeah.
But we have a family member of one of the worst families in Elden Ring, directly to the right of the Grand Lift, there's Everjail, the golden lineage of Everjail, and Godric's family member Godefroy is hanging out in here. And this is the classic, we have a good boss design. We're going to reuse it and change the name.
Yes.
And it's fine. He doesn't have a dragon arm, which we get it, but Godefroy fought alongside Godric in the War of the Shattering, so they were some of the people that were out front trying to get in. He was captured by ancient dragon knight Kristoff sometime after the first defense of Leyndell. I love all of the words, like the first defense and the War of the Shattering. I like when they mention individual battles. I don't know if anyone's like, because to me, this is the George R. R. Martin that I'm looking at, and I know that there is a timeline that is sitting in From Software's thing. But
I'll say this, from playing all the other ones, there is a rich history hidden underneath, and they will mention things as if it's like offhand, but they expect you to know.
Yeah, like it's common knowledge. You live in this world, you should know these things.
When really you're just a dude who kind of woke up.
Yeah.
and you're like a nobody. But I don't know. I think that I don't know if that's all George R. R. Martin, but
I don't think
it feels George R. R. Martin.
I don't think it's all George R. R. Martin, but the way that I read his books,
sure.
And you can extrapolate from one sentence. He'll mention a character that's just in the back of a room, and then 5 books later, he mentions that same character's like shirt description. And if you're paying close enough attention, there's background world building, which is what I think From Software is great as. Is one of their, language is one of their strong points.
I think one of their design philosophies, which is really interesting, is that they choose like these storylines, and then they just focus in on those, and everything else in the periphery kind of adds to it. So like there will be weapons that they're just like, I don't know, make this like this dude's weapon, or make that person's weapon, and it's kind of like this branching thing that goes out in all directions. I'm trying to think of a good example of that.
Just everything, like
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but it's always like this was the Lord of this realm's sword.
This is Lusat's Glintstone
but you found
staff.
it on the opposite end of the map, and it's just like, oh, he must have come here for some reason to do something.
And it's one of those things where you can be a crazy lore diver and make 50 YouTube videos. I watched one today, The Lore of the Turtles. I was like, man, we're struggling here, aren't we? We're just reaching.
Yeah, digging deep now.
We're digging deep.
Well, now it's the most popular thing on the face of the planet. Of course they are.
Well, and they're like, cut dialogue about the turtle meat. It used to mention it was used to enhance virility, but no one really has any interest in that anymore since they're immortal dead people.
Yeah, but you still want to fuck?
I don't know. People they've lost interest. There's no like relationships or physical things you really see.
No.
You only hear about it. Like we'll see a dragon later on who turned human and was like she loved one of the dragon knights. And I was looking this up because I was like, all right, dragon lore, let's see what we got. And I found some weird fan art. People are like, Lanciax must have been like a sexy woman. Why is it so hot if a dragon's a human? And people were just drawing art, and I was like, wow, this is great.
It's something.
It's something.
I like fan art just fine. I don't do it a ton, but I always admire people that do, because it's like you love this thing that much. It's like, instead of coming up with your own ideas.
Yeah, but probably one of the most explicit sexual orifices discussed in the game is by the Dung Eater, who like rips your soul out through your butt. Like that's one of the things he does. And otherwise, I don't know.
He's good at eating ass.
He loves it.
That's why they call him the Dung Eater.
Yeah, dude.
La, 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 la. Let me clean that butthole, girl.
Well, I don't know
Poor
how
guy.
to quit you, Dung Eater. He's a sloppy boy.
Broke back dung pile.
Yeah, if you defeat Godefroy, though, you get the Godfrey icon.
What does that get you?
Raises attack power of charged spells and skills by 15%, which is cool. You'll reach a fork in the road up here, and you can find our favorite little NPC, Bach the Seamster. He's just like your big...
I can't follow his quest line. I don't know. I never did.
Thank God they patched in NPC locations on the map.
Jesus Christ.
That is a huge help.
That matters.
And Bach doesn't really have a good story other than the first thing, and then he just kind of follows you around and doesn't really change anything until the end, where he says, "I'm ugly and want to be reborn."
Yeah.
What is the ultimate goal of his quest line? Because you get an item, right?
Got to tell him he's a pretty boy.
Well,
They're beautiful.
There's
Thank
two.
You got a gesture, right?
No, you use the prattling pate, which is one of those like little devices used mostly for PvP, where you can communicate with people, but.
Which is cool that they added it in to be an actual way of communication between you and the NPCs,
and it's
kind of obtuse.
And those prattling pates are supposedly like Bach's mom, actually. There's also very rare dialogue where you can visit Melina at a site of grace, and she talks about Bach and Bach's mom a little bit, which is odd. She doesn't really discuss NPCs in general, but she will. Everyone likes Bach. He's a good little guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. If at the end you can give him a larval tear and he'll be a beautiful vegetable.
Yep, that's how I did. I did that to the guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or you just tell him he's beautiful. He says, "Hey, maybe I am beautiful. Thanks, man."
You were beautiful inside this whole time.
You're not going to say he's pretty though.
No,
that is an ugly seamster.
That is a face not even his mother could love.
Oh, he's just like a baboon. Who cares?
Like,
But he's up there. There's a Knights Cavalry at this fork as well. But if you go to the right, then you have like that long, big entrance to the gate. At the top, there will be 2 tree sentinels. These guys are assholes. One of them,
Impossible.
One of them wields the Erd Tree Great Shield. So any magical projectiles you send at it just sends it, like bounces it back at you. It's a really cool shield. And if you defeat these 2, you get it. So I've seen player builds where they'll use like spells that return, like the Discus of Light. So they throw it and then they knock back their own attacks with it, and they'll just like send their Discus of Light out, and then they just keep bouncing it off with their shield and just get stronger and stronger, which is like a pretty cool playstyle.
That's interesting. I don't have the energy for that.
It seemed like a unique way to play. Kind of looks like Captain America.
It deflects
something.
all magic projectiles.
Anything your way, and it sends it back to them.
Depending on your stamina.
As long as it's about timing. So as long as you can time the projectile hits.
It's a parry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's easier than a parry.
Okay.
It's not like Bloodborne where I still don't know how to parry almost anything.
I'm actually good at that.
Yeah.
I think parrying is fake.
It's fake.
I
In
don't.
this game, it is fake.
I do not believe. I think they put the words in there, and they were like, "Yeah, we forgot to put that in the game." And they're like, "We'll patch it later," and they just haven't.
They just haven't done it.
There's no parrying.
The other tree sentinel is wielding the Sentry's Torch, which you can get this as well. This reveals veiled assassins. So any invisible enemy, which you will see some, if you have the torch on, they're visible. You can see them, which is a neat little touch.
It's a good tool for a guard.
They gave this after the Black Knife assassins killed Godwin. They're like, we should probably have an invisible detector out front. Yeah, but just south of this road, you'll find a falling star beast. There's only 2 of these in the game. The
One on Volcano Manor, near Volcano Manor.
That is the adult falling star beast. There's 2 of the puppies though.
There's one in a catacomb then, right?
Yep, right next to where you get teleported from at the beginning of the game into Caelid.
Okay.
There's one in there, but these are cute little puppies.
Meow meow.
I like them enough.
They're cool looking. I like them.
And you get a gravity stone fan and a chunk. Honestly, it's a pretty horrible prize, but
Yeah. It's a good amount of runes. It's fine.
it's fine. But something that is cool near here is the Perfumer's Grotto. And we haven't really seen much of Perfumers yet. You mentioned the giant spears out front. Originally, Perfumers were healers. They were essentially like a pharmacy, an apothecary. They were just there to keep Leyndell happy, keep him healthy, and Leyndell guarded the secrets. They wouldn't let them like go out and practice elsewhere because it was like just for them.
Sure.
As soon as war hit, they got drafted, and it's like, if you know how to keep someone alive, you also know how to kill people. And
That's true.
yeah, this is like the chemical warfare. This is Agent Orange. This is some of the darkest shit you don't hear about in wars.
Yeah.
Long term, like
Mustard gas. It's
the stuff that kills you long term and destroys you on the inside. But
they're
those
basically breathing asbestos at you. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put it in their mouth first and they just spit it at you.
Well, you can inoculate yourself to most poisons. Me, I'm incapable of getting cancer because I chew on it.
It's like raw. It's like raw.
Is that gum? No, it's cancer.
And I just keep a little cancer in the bottom of my lip and I spit sometimes.
You don't do that, do you? Chewing tobacco?
No, hell no.
Okay.
No, I'll stick with my still bad but fine vape.
Yeah, it's better. But those big spears are actually like chemical bombs. They're full, like they drop and then they just disperse all of like the shit into the battlefield.
Oh, so it's basically a missile that launches clouds after it hits?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. Yeah. Some of these went mad with their power and they sort of defined the Golden Order. You'll see perfumers that have completely gone off the deep end. Most of them are all going to be bad people. Some of them are incredibly bad. The depraved ones, they became rabbit hole. Okay, so
Go for it.
Margit or Morgot, the person, the first big toughie, the tough guy, the big tough guy you fight,
Yeah.
and die to. He is actually the one in charge of Landell. He's like the current leader, the king.
Yeah.
But he is an omen, and omen are looked down upon. And Morgoth's got this weird thing in his head where the Golden Order hates omens. And he still, despite being an omen, is so obsessed with the Golden Order and keeping things the status quo.
Sounds like the Republican Party, am I right?
This has been Elden Dogs, everybody. But he's got a lot of self-loathing, and it's kind of hinted at that he's the one that like made a sect of perfumers become like obsessed with omen killing. He was sending out them trying to cure omens mostly by like killing them.
Shade.
Omen killers are like, they look great,
They're cool, yeah.
but essentially perfumers got obsessed with killing omens. They started taking things that nulled their senses, nulled their emotions, so they'd be better at killing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called alcoholism. That's how I know my senses, anyways. That's what Dahmer did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what these perfumers are, and they have these grottos. So this is one of their grottos where they grow these Miranda plants, and they also have a weird relationship with them where the plants won't attack them, where they're like aggressive against everybody else, but they're cool with them.
It must be like a pheromonal thing. If they smell like them, then
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
that's logical.
Yeah, the perfumers are horrible assholes, but if you head north at the fork in the road, we find our friend Corin. He's the guy that's got the wheel around his neck.
Oh, yeah.
He is Dylan's biggest fan.
Is he?
He's obsessed with Gold Mask.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's cool. He's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you play as a prophet in the game, you get that too.
Yeah, the outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's essentially read all of Gold Mask's books. He has all of his stuff on Laserdisc, and he's just so pumped to meet this guy.
Yeah.
He does, after hanging out with Gold Mask for a while, he's like, I don't know if he's making as much sense as I thought he would.
No.
But he won't concede that maybe his hero isn't.
Never meet your heroes,
Never
kids.
meet your heroes.
Says you, Mr. 56.
He was nice.
Yes.
I'm Nick Barnett. I met him in an Olive Garden. You're all caught up. That's the story.
Tyler was 10 years old, just loving the Olive Garden life.
Yeah. Endless breadsticks and Packer players. Hell yeah.
He said, "You want to taste my breadsticks, son? Come with me to the bathroom."
I don't quite.
can't believe
He
he
said, "Yes,
said
sir,
that.
Mr. Sir."
I can't quite.
But he was your family because you're there.
I don't recall
Then you said no.
the story going that way.
But then you said no, and he walked off. And when he went outside, he pulled off his mask after getting angry.
And it was Jared from Subway.
It was Jared.
I
from
knew you were
Subway.
going there with that.
And he just goes, and he stomps on the mask. Well, you dodged one.
Yeah. Hey, live to fight another day.
Yeah.
To the right of brother Corin, there's a key item for Celavis's quest. I never did any of Celavis's quest.
I did a lot of Celavis's quest.
After he gave me that weird potion that was going to kill Nefeli, I was like, I just don't want to talk with this guy. So when I did go back to his place, he was dead because I'd moved up the story. If you move up with Ronnie far enough, he just dies. But there is the...
I never gave the potion out to anyone.
Yeah, I'm still holding on to it on my new playthrough. I don't know if I gave it to Gideon or not, but here you can find the Amber Starlight. This is a unique key item that Celovis can make a potion with this that can turn a demigod into a puppet. And he wants you to give it to Ronnie. And you can try and give Ronnie this potion that will kill her and make her into a puppet. She sees through you right away and gets pissed, and I believe she kills you.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'll end Ronnie's quest line right there. I didn't know about this. There are some people that would kill Ronnie, and that made me sad. But
Yeah, fuck that.
yeah,
She gave me a bell.
Can you give it to anyone else?
the potion can be given to Nefeli or Gideon to throw away, or the Dung Eater. Not the demigod one. The demigod one is only for Ronnie.
It's only for Ronnie?
It's just that's the part of the quest. I mean,
There should be like another option.
maybe there
That'd
will
be
be.
interesting.
Maybe there's something people don't know about yet. There is a lot still being discovered in this game, which is crazy.
When I get to him in this playthrough, I'm just going to kill that bastard right away. See what
They might
happens.
turn on you.
Yeah, I think
You have to wait till they're like guilty.
one of the last things I do before New Game Plus is you're supposed to just go and kill all the NPCs to get their armor. And I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's true.
Except Muriel. We don't kill Muriel, the Turtle Pope.
No, he's fine.
He's a good
do you
player.
get the Pope hat, though?
I don't think so.
Because if I got the Pope hat, like I could live with it.
I'd love to have the Pope hat.
I was looking at rare
I'd play
armor.
again just for the Pope hat.
I was looking at rare armor today, and there's a really rare drop where you can get an octopus head.
Oh my god,
It's
yes.
just a land octopus like head that like a little one you wear. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
It could be like the Deep,
Yeah.
except I'm not going to fuck it.
Well,
If you got your head
you
in
seem
it.
really obsessed with being the Deep. Maybe you can admit it.
I do have an octopus tattooed on my arm, too.
Whoa. Calm down there,
Smooth,
sex offender.
Yeah, it's got like 8 bikinis.
It's very sexual.
Yeah.
Yes, if you keep going this way, there's a great bridge that is fallen apart. There's a merchant there. He'll sell you the Ancient Dragon Apostles Cookbook, which you would care about, Tyler, because it gives you lightning pots and roped lightning pots.
Yeah, that shit's awesome.
Do you prefer the regular or the roped ones?
I'm good with the regular ones. The roped ones aren't bad; they're faster.
The rope
but
ones
like,
go backwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my biggest thing. If you're running away from something, that's like the best.
See, but I try to like my play style. I'm trying to keep everything in front of me.
Yeah,
because I got magic and shit. So like, I just chuck them.
I mean, if that's I've
Plus-
never even tried the backwards ones.
Well, then you have to get rope too, which isn't incredibly hard to find, but it's just like another thing you got to find in order to craft them. Whereas, like, if you just have the base materials and a cracked pot, you're good to go.
Oh, that's not true. In my last playthrough, I did use those to just get through dungeons and just literally just like whipping them the entire time.
Yeah, like those dungeons where the skeletons like take forever to like wake up and come at you. If you run through and just throw them.
Did you? Okay, so what's funny is the cracked pots. At first, I assumed that once you use them, they were done forever.
Same.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I would assume that because they break.
I'm like, why am I finding so little of these if they're used to just make like disposable items? No, it's just like you can keep using them.
Such a weird, like, yeah, the logic in my brain didn't click either. I was like, why am I able to do this?
It's just one of those things where they just don't explain things very well. They don't have to, technically. I don't think that was like necessary, but
There's just so many ways you could play this game.
I know.
If I'm trying to do an archer build, and if you really want to, you can have like 20 different kinds of arrows that all have specific advantages for this or that.
Bosses, whatever.
Bosses.
You do a lot of hunting then, though, right?
There's a sword that makes things go to sleep, and people talk about sleep builds, and it sounds so weird to me. But the Sword of St. Trina is a thing, and you as a special ability that makes things go to sleep, so you can just go up there and just wail them a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's what you're supposed to do when you have like multiple, like the ancient dragon skin apostles, like the big bloaty boy. Yeah, you mentioned crack pots, and that made me remember one more reason why we hate perfumers. They're so desperate to get all the ingredients because you need them. One of the ingredients is incredibly rare. It's the innards of the living jars. So they pay people to go kill jars and bring... Tyler's okay, man. You
I
seem
don't like that.
that's why the Jar Village...
Buddy.
Yeah, you actually go to the Jar Village. There's a bunch of happy jars there that are like, pick our flowers. We like you. And then you come back and they're all slaughtered.
I just want to know what the jars are.
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
No one knows for sure.
I am one, and I have no idea what's going on.
I don't think they're meant to know. Do they fuck?
I never have. I'm just a jar,
Do they just rub their handles together?
I don't know how they reproduce because you see Alexander's nephew in
Uncle
the Jar
Alexander.
Village. He calls him Uncle Alexander.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. I don't think there were people before they became jars.
I don't think so.
No,
I think
but they're full of
separate,
people.
Like, I think they're like separate beings. Someone had to make them. Do you think the DLC is all going to be about the jars?
Oh, yeah. Elden Ring, the Return of the Jar.
You get eaten by a jar.
Return of the Jar instead of Return of Jafar.
there we go.
You get eaten by a jar, and you go to the inside the like inner realm of a jar.
Oh, that's actually kind of dope.
And there's all of the other like
Things that got
that
slayed.
got eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't wield
shit, that'd be
weapons.
crazy, yeah.
They just punch.
Yep. It's like a magic school bus where you go inside the jar.
It's kind of like a TARDIS thing too. Yeah. I don't hate that actually. That's a pretty good idea.
We have another beer we're drinking. This is a gift from Ryan. Thanks, Ryan, for providing us all these beers.
Thank you so much.
This is from Blue Owl Brewing. This one sounds fucking great. It's a pastry goza sour blueberry cobbler.
Ooh.
It's a sour beer with blueberry, milk sugar, salt, cinnamon, and vanilla. 5%.
Damn. This brewery has not missed yet.
No, and like pastry sours are one of my jams.
What about them?
They're sweet and sour.
Wow. That's good.
That's solid.
This isn't one of my favorites from them. It is good.
Yeah,
No,
it's good.
the after.
I wish
Give
it was
a second
sweeter.
for the after.
Yeah, that after is real good.
The vanilla after is really good.
Yeah.
That one sticks on your tongue. That's
Yeah.
nice.
They don't miss.
They do not miss. That was the last one from Blue Owl we have. We have 4 very big special ones, but we're saving those for Tom and Josh, who we're seeing in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Excited
my
about
God,
that.
they're gonna be here.
We're going to be there.
yeah.
Josh cannot come in this house.
Oh yeah. Well, it'll make my life easier.
Yeah. Josh is the buffest dude in the world, but he can't be around a cat because he'll kill him.
Yeah.
It's like elephants and mice.
So he says. So he says.
Maybe he just really doesn't like him.
It's probable.
Yeah. If we're not going to go across the bridge, there's a way to get there to take you to the other side. But if you go back to the fork of the road and just go a little northwest, you'll find the Second Church of America. And here you will find Bloody Finger Hunter Ura. He's the guy with the cool big hat. Mm-hmm. And he's out there still hunting the hunters of Tarnished, the Bloody Fingers. He's trying to take them down. If you assisted him in fighting a Raven Mount assassin outside of Rega Lucaria, he will have tracked down Eleonora, the Violet Bloody Finger. She used to be associated with him. They might have been dating, but they had a falling out.
Were they going steady?
They were until she started killing his friends. And
That'll do it
that's-
almost every time.
You really want to make a relationship work. Like,
Yeah.
At some point, though, if they start killing your friends, you got to draw a line in the sand. And,
Yeah. Because
yeah.
if you don't draw the line there, what's next? You know, you give a mouse a cookie.
She wants she wants your big hat. Like, that's not cool.
That's where you draw the last line.
Don't touch the hat.
The hat stays on during sex.
And socks.
And socks.
There's some armor in From Software games that are just so impractical, but they like look cool. But they're like, what are you wearing?
Yeah,
What is his name?
those are the
G
best.
with like the head.
D.
Yeah, D with the head coming out of his armor. I'm like, that is just
And
cumbersome.
he's always holding it too.
Yeah.
I don't. It's odd.
Yeah.
And then you have the big guy who's like the big armor with like the big belly.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forget it. Oh
You
man,
find that
I
in the
love
Capitol,
him.
don't you?
I don't know. I forget where you find it.
Yeah, I think you
I would
find it.
often wear his helmet.
because
And-
it's a cool big helmet.
Yeah, it's big and it's
And
cool
then
looking.
the belly though is just like it looks. Yeah, I played as a fat
It's
mage
meant.
for
It's
a while.
meant to deflect piercing ammo and shit like that.
Yeah, you can't get through all of it.
Well, if you're completely round, then there's nothing for an arrow to actually hit. It just goes.
Yeah, and if someone tries to stab you with a sword, it'll
Yeah,
just
it's like
glance
zoop.
off.
So it actually has a functional purpose.
Yeah, it actually does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
underneath that armor, he was only 110 pounds. He was a very slender man.
It was just 3 children inside of that.
There's always something like that. Sigmire from Dark Souls 1. It's just a big dude. They call him the Onion Knight. He's just big, and he goes, oh, ho, ho.
Dylan,
I've never
He
played
falls
that
asleep.
game, and I know an Onion Knight from somewhere.
You know it from
Game of
Game of
Game
Thrones.
of Thrones, that's right, yeah.
Sir Davos Seaworth.
Yeah.
He kept Stannis Baratheon's army alive by smuggling onions into the city. A lot of onion soup was had.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how we became master of ships. Davos was a good character. He
Yeah.
had like 7 kids in the books.
Damn, that guy got around.
And he never sees his wife once. He talks about her. He hasn't seen her in like 30 years, which is really funny to me.
And he can't read.
Yeah,
He learns.
Yeah, he learns a little bit.
Yeah.
But Eleonora, you can fight her with him here. She drops Eleonora's pole blade, which has a unique skill. Any weapon with unique skills are fun because they're the only ones that have them.
Yeah.
The blood blade dance. You leap at a foe in a whirlwind of like twin blade tornado. It's crazy, and then an additional input at the end does an evasive maneuver, and so you charge them and then you back up.
Ooh, I like that.
That's cool.
Massive blood loss buildup, and it causes both physical and fire damage. This
I
weapon.
triple like that.
It is people rank it as the best twin blade in the game too. So this is a good one to get.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go for that.
Yeah, I like the twin blade a lot.
I've got the dex for it.
I'm going an intelligence dex build right now.
Your dex isn't that big.
Not yet.
And just not related at all, Ash Ketchum has finally become the best Pokemon trainer in the world.
How the hell
Okay.
did we get to that?
I was just thinking about
I
it.
watched the episode after you posted that.
Yeah.
So Leon, he's the champion from the Galar region.
Yes.
He has a Charizard, like that's his big thing. Like he wears Charizard flair everywhere because Gigantamaxing is a thing
Yeah.
in that series. And they're in like the world championship tournament of some sort, and they both like Gigantamax and do weird stuff. But if you're gonna send something after Pikachu, you don't send a flying type Pokemon like a Charizard.
Yeah, that's a small brain move.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Pikachu uses like Thunderbolt or some such shit.
But
or Volt
Ash-
Tackle.
Ash is the greatest Pokemon trainer in the world now. He took him 25 years.
Hey, don't give up on your dreams though.
He wanted to be the very best, like no one ever was.
But he hasn't aged.
He's still 12 or whatever
Well, in
it
the
is.
first series, apparently it's only been 2 years. He's only aged 2 years.
Well,
Apparently.
it's like Breaking Bad. Most of all of that show takes place in the course of a year. I'm like, Walter really went through a lot in 1 year, didn't he?
Doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Plus,
moves
Jesse's
quick.
aged 10 years in 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, meth and stress will do that to a man.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And that dude was so stressed out the whole time. That poor guy.
Not a great life.
No.
But he got to kiss Kristen Ritter, and
You win some, you lose some.
it's fine.
Maybe you have to take some meth, but you get to kiss Kristen Ritter.
You know what? I might take the deal.
I'm in.
You got a deal, Howie.
You can also, here at the church, find the Purifying Crystal Tear. Interesting because this one, for your Flask of Physic, this only has one purpose, and it's negating the curse effect of Moog. So when you go fight Moog in the Mogwin,
Are you fucking kidding me?
this negates the curse effect. And this is the only point of that whole Crystal Tear, which is odd. Like
That's the only reason I had trouble with that boss.
Yep. Moog was cool. I want to look more into the lore of what's going on there because he has very much Bloodborne vibes where he stabs like a formless thing in the sky and blood shoots out.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wicked.
Well, and then that curse, if you don't have the right amount of healing items on you, you are completely screwed out. You are just done. Like you will have to go somewhere else. It's not a good boss fight.
No, and this is one of those things where they kind of reuse a model a little bit too. He looks very much like Morgott. They are brothers. Yeah.
But his moveset is completely different.
And they also couldn't like be more different from where they stand. Morgott is devoted to the Golden Order, and he will hate himself, but like try and bring things together. And Mogwin's trying to fuck a baby and become like embrace the evil. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I can see both points. Yeah, they're both wrong.
One's worse than another one, but
One's a little more worse.
religious zealot versus a baby fucker.
I just don't want either of them. This is like politics, you know?
But eventually you do have to root for the one that's not fucking the baby.
Typically, don't those two things go hand in hand?
Typically.
It's called the Franklin Covered Up. Look it up, folks.
We're going to hear from some of the other amazing shows from the HyperX Podcast Network, and we're going to be right back to talk about Midsummer and Crazy Dancing Ladies.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Crazy Dancing Ladies. I got
We'll be right back.
The Hardcore Gaming 101 podcast is on a mission to rank the top games of all time. I like the idea that when Bruce Wayne gets angry, he switches to the Batman voice.
Why do you have such a problem making Boomerang shaped like a bat? You mean like Batman? Not like Batman, just make it for me! Bruce Wayne, uncanny even with this guy.
It's a Herculean task, and I'd be lying if I said it hasn't taken a toll on our cognitive faculties.
Most people would be happy to have a job during a global pandemic. Dentists.
Hardcore Gaming 101, twice a week, every week, right here on the HyperX Podcast Network.
The award-winning Go Nintendo podcast is the best place to get the latest news on the world of Nintendo. We cover the biggest stories, share impressions of the latest games, and answer your burning questions. There's also some general pop culture talk, game music trivia, a heaping helping of silliness, and did I mention our robot companion?
I'm the star of the show.
Catch new episodes of the Go Nintendo podcast every Saturday on the HyperX Podcast Network.
If you're a shrewd shopper, it's about to be your favorite time of the year. HyperX will be running massive sales for the holiday season. Get up to 50% off some of our most popular products, like the Ultra Comfy Cloud 2 headset, the tough, responsive Alloy Origins mechanical keyboard, and the fan-favorite Quadcast USB microphone. Sales will be going on at all major e-tailers, but be sure to head to HyperX.com and sign up for the newsletter to get the scoop on the biggest deals. Happy holidays from HyperX.
A lot of the levels, and I'm not a fan of Viola.
That's the other new...
It's a new character, a new fighting character.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to do spoilers here. I probably shouldn't.
We probably shouldn't.
No.
In case people...
But she's awful to use. I hope they patch her.
Oh, no.
I find her awful to use. She's like the worst part of the game. When you give me like the ability to turn into a train, and then the next chapter, I don't even get to use it because I have to be Viola. No, absolutely not.
This is not acceptable.
It's not acceptable because I could be a train, or I could be. I mean, honestly, her demon is really cool. It's Cheshire, and it's just this demonic Cheshire cat that you can summon, which is really cool. But I don't know.
I was just a fucking train, though.
I can summon a clock tower and become a marionette soldier. Are you kidding me?
Speaking of marionette soldiers, that's an enemy in Elden Ring.
Truly.
If you head north of that church, you'll find the Wraithblood Ruins. They did something here where they patched in a new character. Part of Mogwin's original quest involves you having to do online multiplayer. It's part of the quest line. You actually have to go invade other people and fight them. You don't have to win, but they patched in an NPC here, so you don't actually have to do online multiplayer. You can do this quest offline, which is like so smart. I can't believe that they had like one thing that required you to be online.
That is so silly because eventually this is going to be a dead game if you do something like that.
Yeah, they're the number of games that I loved that they don't exist anymore because they were like online only experiences.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And you can't preserve them. But yeah, Magnus the Beast Claw was introduced here. And you can also fight a Sanguine Noble in the basement. You get a Bloody Hellas weapon. And
I did that.
Yeah. It scales with Arcane, and it's like a blood mace. Anything that scales with Arcane is super unique. But there's not a lot of people that do Arcane builds. You find more items, which is great.
But scaling with Arcane, does that add to... Well, it adds to the weapon's damage, but does it cause any, like, side effect?
The Bloody Hellas?
Yeah.
It's got a unique skill, the Dynast Finesse. You perform an evasive maneuver where you are immune to damage during the whole, like, maneuver. And then you press R2 afterwards, and you have a very long-range forward thrust. Like, think you jump forward 15 feet.
Oh, cool.
And you stab them with it. And recent patch actually improved directional control, so you're able to like aim where you like jump forward too, which is pretty cool.
The fact that they're still working on this game like that, oof.
Getting ready for the DLC. You're gonna go underneath the bridge, and then you're faced with a few directions. There's a bunch of dancing ladies, but we're gonna not go up to them first. We're gonna go down into the pit, into the big area in the center of the Altus Plateau. It's
with the horse faces.
It's a foggy, misty mess down here. Mm-hmm. And yes, this is the first time you're going to run into Wormfaces.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
horse faces?
What do you think? What are your thoughts on these horse faces, Dylan?
I think they're cool. They're really hard to beat right away. They're very difficult. You really have to draw them out bit by bit, especially if you want to enter those catacombs earlier. But I don't know. They're interesting looking and they're scary. I'm not afraid of them, but I'm not afraid of them. No,
They're the second scariest thing in the Altus Plateau. Let's just put it that way.
for you.
Yes, they are the second.
Death Blight is terrifying because you can be surviving a battle and then instant kill with the Death Blight. This is one of the few enemies that will use Death Blight. I did my research on the lore of what Wormfaces are, and they're fascinating. First thing they do is they lure you in with childlike cries, just nightmare fuel. But you get closer, and they vomit Death Blight. They'll even like pick you up and shove your head, the larger one, into its like tentacles and just vomit Death Blight on you.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is great. That is
cool.
That's some cool shit. They appeared to be related to Godwin with their Death Blight, who is like his body lives on without his soul. We see him way later in the basement of the world down there, but his curse has gotten assimilated into the Erd tree, so now it's spreading like this Death Blight that is moving through the tree into everything, killing the Wormfaces. They also drop gold tinged dung and sacrificial twigs. So what they're actually doing is eating the roots of the Erd tree. Anywhere they can eat these roots is what they're doing.
Oh, cool.
So that's how they get Death Blight at them. They violently vomit it out, and then they shit gold twigs from the Erd tree, which is weird.
I don't hate it.
You know, I had a personal, my ego got in the way of because the twigs will replace your ruins in case you die, right? You'll lose the twig.
Yep.
Instead of your ruins. My ego would not let me equip the twigs because I'm like, I'm not fucking dying. Like,
yeah, I'm the same way.
Mama didn't raise no bitch. I ain't dying.
Because they are
I
a
am
rare
bitch.
drop still.
You don't get them all the time, but what is cool, let's say you walk into a room that's got 2 Crucible Knights, and you just want your runes because you actually took too many runes in there. You take a sacrificial twig, grab your runes, and then die. You get to take your runes out of the room. That's the only time I would do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, otherwise, no, I ain't no bitch.
Yeah, Mama didn't raise no bitch.
I will hit my head 50 times in a row before I give up.
Yeah.
And Carly said, go to bed, and I'm just getting drunk. Marriage is great. Yeah, you fight a boss Wormface here. Drop some crystal physics stuff for you. Not important. There's some ruins. Not that important. There's the Altus Tunnel. Not that important. But you can get some good smithing stones here, which you might need your first time.
I always go to the mines first.
Always go to the mines if you can find them. They're usually marked on the map in a cool way, too.
Yeah,
I just remember the
tunnel.
maps now. Yeah.
Yeah. Still surprised how much I'm learning, but you can also, there is one of the hanging upside down star beasts. I forget their names. There's one in here, and also in the Perfumer's Grotto. You can see at a big open chasm the other location, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
And it was very frustrating the first time. Like, there's clearly ways to get over there, but I can't. You come back another way. You get some stones there. It's not important. There's the Mirage Rise to the west, and that's the invisible tower with the puzzle of here's a map with 3 locations. Go to these 3 locations, and then it appears. But
essentially, and it's more difficult than you think because there's one further out by a bunch of pillars, and that one was very difficult for me to find for no discernible reason. Even as I compared it on the map, I'm like, I am there. Excuse me. I know what maps are.
The last one's tough because it's hidden under an illusory rock.
Yeah.
Yep. Classic. But this is kind of a cool spot once you get inside. There's 2 sorceries from Celia, which, as we remember from Caelid, they like to do the invisible stuff. Those are those invisible sorcerers that we all hate. You can get the sorcery unseen form, which makes the caster semi-invisible. Even works on horseback, and Torrent will go invisible, which is kind of cool. And can be cast in motion. So if you're running away from something, you can just pop on your invisibility potion. And also the unseen blade, which this one seems stupid. It just makes your sword invisible.
Well, if you're invisible, I guess the moment you hit, Yeah, well, whatever. That actually might be good for PvP because you don't know what weapon the person's holding.
Yeah, I guess I could see that being a thing, but it's nothing that I've ever used.
It's definitely for PvP.
But I guess we can talk about the Windmill Village.
That was spooky.
What were your thoughts going in there?
I thought it was awesome because I love the movie Midsommar, and just like it's like getting pulled into a weird Elden Ring Midsommar Ari Aster nightmare.
It's so different from what was happening before.
Yeah, and I slaughtered my way up and down that thing. There is not a single flower child left. I killed them
flower
all.
child, but you mean like flowered old hags?
They were once flower childs. They were probably, back in the 60s. They were like, peace and love, baby.
Sure, yeah. They saw Hendrix.
Yeah, they dropped a shit
stuck
ton of
around for
acid and
Hendrix.
lost their minds.
Oh, my God. They're all dying because of ergot poisoning.
I know Brad's about to tell us the backstory, but I refuse to believe it. I've just crafted it, and it's perfect.
It's scary what's going on here. The vibe is that this was a village, a windmill village, where people were happy. And for one reason or another, when people are unable to die, people start going a little crazy. Mm-hmm. And one person started worshiping the godskin apostles that skin people.
Yeah.
And I don't know what was like the big thing that like made it start, but all the women have skinned and killed all the men in the village, and now they just worship skinning things. And even a lot of them are skinned. Like they're skinning themselves. Like these people, that's their festival. They kill all men. They went full witch in a bad way. Like, yeah. Like the movie at the end, like they've just embraced, like, we are the women that skin ourselves, and their weapons are all made out of bones. Like one of the coolest ones is a rib rake. They made a rake out of someone's rib cage.
I think it's like a cow's rib cage.
A lot of the descriptions say that they're made from human bones.
Really?
Yeah.
I always picture, because they seemed big for even them, but
there
are size discrepancies between people in this.
Some people are just huge for no reason in this game.
It's true.
Yeah. They ate their veggies.
Yeah. Or they ate their insides of a jar or something.
Or that'll like do gods it. Or something. Yeah.
These women, you can walk right through the village too. If they're in the middle of their dancing, they will not attack you. Like you can just walk right up to them and hang out. I wish you could get the dancing emote so I could join them and dance with them, but
no.
I walked about a quarter of the way up and was like,
just flossing in there.
Hey guys, do you like Fortnite?
You guys all single?
I can twerk. No, I walked about a quarter of the way up, and I was like, oh, cool, they're friendly, but they're creepy. And then saw how far it was going to go, and I was like, and I went back to the beginning, and then just went full Anakin on the younglings. Just wrecked them.
They got that horrible laugh, too.
Yeah. And then, the moment you attack one of them, they all stop and just look at you like, oh, you fucked up.
It's like when one zombie notices you, so all the zombies turn you.
It's like some hive mind shit.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Godskin Apostle at the top, and definitely kill him. You'll get the Godskin Peeler, which is a very cool twin blade. It has the skill Black Flame Tornado, where you spin your weapon overhead really fast, and it summons a black tornado of death that'll hurt people. And then
you used it.
Yeah, and then you send the tornado out. It's cool. You get the incantation Scouring Black Flame as well. And mostly it's just a nice break from everything else that's been happening in the game. It's just such a unique village. It
feels so different.
Yeah. This is a highlight.
To me, this is one of the most memorable areas of the entire game. Like there are those shacks off to the side where you can get the giant rat shade or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's a mini village where they're kind of doing that stuff to kind of give you an idea. This is where it's good level design, because especially if you just kind of cross it, you're just getting an idea of what it is, and then you get a whole village of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's really interesting. Like here's what you're about to face in this area. You're going to have to deal with this.
The windmill pastures are pretty cool too. I think there's just the giant rat spirit ashes. Those are weird in that they don't require FP or HP at all. It doesn't require anything to use it.
Yeah.
And the higher the level, the more rats get summoned.
Yep.
which is cool.
I used it a lot.
It's like that Crispin Glover movie where he's like what is it, Wilfred or something?
Wilfred, yeah.
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 I forgot about that movie until now.
Yeah.
That movie
creepy.
fucked me up as a kid.
Yeah. Speaking of rats, I beat the Plague Tale games.
You beat Requiem as well?
Yeah.
That one's okay.
That fucked me up. But yeah, no, rats.
That city scene?
Oh, God.
How fucked up?
That was fucked.
I need to play those games.
It is fantastic. A little clunky gameplay, but the story's fantastic.
It's clunky. The stealth works, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will find a rogue battle mage out here. What for some reason he's this big guy. This guy's like 3 feet taller. This is the Shaquille O'Neal of battle mages from Ray Lucaria. This dude's a big motherfucker. He drops the battle mage set, which is cool. There is the other end of the collapsed bridge, and here is where we find Dylan looking at a tree.
Yeah.
Yep. Gold Mask is a man who doesn't really wear clothing, and he wears a big sun mask.
Mm-hmm. He's probably not human.
Oh, he's human.
Is he?
Yeah, Gold Mask is from the same tribe as Horalu and Nefelilu. He's from the Badlands. He is a Tarnished. And I put down this glorious motherfucker mostly just stands around naked pointing at the tree.
I was so excited when I found him. I was
Yeah.
like, you're the fucking... I got a friend that would love to meet you. Can you just stay right here? I'll be right back.
And he just doesn't move.
Like, good, you're still here.
Yeah. I told you I found him. When the game opens, they mention
Fear the deathbed companion,
Yeah.
the noble Gold Mask.
and I thought these were going to be the
They're
bosses.
going to be bosses, yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're hyping me up.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're just kind of... Every one of those characters is hinting at one of the endings for the game.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Dung Eater has an ending to the game.
it's essentially the word, like the chaos reigns over the world.
That's gnarly.
Yeah. I forget. Yeah.
Very heavy
I'm
metal.
excited to talk about his ending, but the Dung Eater, yeah, he's a bad guy. The more you know about him, actually, the less you like him. It sounds cool. He eats butt. Like, yeah, cool. But it turns out it's not a good way of eating butt.
Damn.
I know. I'm sorry. But yes, you find Gold Mask here, go and tell Cora, and he hightails it over here. And now there's a dude staring at a tree, and a dude staring at a dude staring at a tree. And that's going to be their most of their plot going forward. Gold Mask will have one line of dialogue in the game, and it's when you tell him that Radagon is America, like they're the same thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh. He just like makes a sound. And then he's like, that's okay. But yeah, Gold Mask is cool. What makes you like him, Dylan?
He's kind of this weird esoteric, almost Mothman, Indigo Swan type of being. You know, he's just interesting. Like, and I've never followed his quest line because I'm going to be honest with you. I looked it up and I don't want to do that much work.
I don't know if his quest line has a ton of extra.
I felt like it was a lot of work, and that's why I didn't want to do it.
A lot of work for the payoff at the end. I don't like his ending, or just like everything kind of stays the same. The Golden Order reigns supreme. It's like, that's boring.
Yeah, it's boring, but it's also like, I don't know. He's funny.
Gold Mask could be a great Halloween costume. Just your underwear and a sun mask.
Yeah.
And just point at stuff.
I should wear like shit-stained whitey tighties.
Yeah.
Tighty whities.
You'll show up and people will for sure start singing Dayman.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Even though he looks nothing like Dayman, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, you're Dayman, right? Fighter of the night, man.
And you could be dressed up as Corin, and like, isn't it obvious who we are?
yeah.
Yeah.
You're just literally wearing like a barrel, and you're walking around, and it's just beer in the barrel, and you're just like, I'm Alexander. You just look like a drunk guy in a barrel.
Got a couple straws. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm getting kind of soggy in here, guys.
Tastes like Tyler.
I'm going to play Dark Souls next year. I am going to play them, Dylan.
You have to, yeah.
But until then, what is it about Solaire that makes him so cool?
Solaire is like your buddy. Solaire is the first character in the game that doesn't seem shady. He's a dude that you meet out on a balcony, and he's staring off at the sun, and he goes, hey, friend, how are you doing today? He's like, ooh, if only I could be like the sun, so wonderful and warm. And he's like, if you ever need help, just call on me. And he really comes in clutch.
Okay.
He's the best NPC in the entire game. And one of his things is that he praises the sun. He praises Gwyn, the Lord of Fire. And by doing so, he does his big like T-pose where he reaches up more like a Y shape. And it's why everyone says praise the sun all the time.
He gave me vibes of...
He's not Solaire.
No, but Gold Mask reminded me of like just the dude doing a pose, which is why I thought of him.
No, Solaire's got a lot more energy to him. His storyline...
You mean he talks?
Yeah, that too. But if you follow his storyline, there's actually something interesting going on. Up until Dark Souls 3, they thought that he was one of Gwyn's children.
Okay.
They thought that he was like his long-lost son until you play Dark Souls 3, and then literally they show you him.
Is Dark Souls 3 good, Dylan?
It's very good.
Okay.
I told you I got the remastered, right? Dark Souls remastered.
Yeah, you'll love it, except for the fact that this game has a lot of like quality of life improvements. So a lot of the stuff is going to frustrate you.
Okay.
It's slower. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I'm excited.
More shield-based?
No, you don't have to. I don't use shields in Dark Souls anymore. It might be good for your first run.
Yeah.
If you jump down the bridge in front of Gold Mask, you can find a Gold Mask helmet. So you can actually wear the
I've had
thing.
that. Yeah.
And it says, mask designed to resemble a blazing golden halo, created and left behind by Lord Goldmask. So this dude is making his own masks and leaving them around.
He's creating his own little effigies. It's great.
He's creating his own little cult, and he's all about it.
Yeah.
And to those who seek, it says in quotes, so this is something Goldmask said, to you who seek to shine as I do, wear it well. Just, he doesn't talk, so it's weird that there's a quote from him. Maybe it's from his book.
Or maybe it's because before he became this kind of silent monk type of creature. That's why I like about him. He's so dedicated to it. Have you ever seen that Indian guy who...
This guy?
Have you seen this? Brett, can you look it up on your phone, Tyler? There's a guy who, in service to his god, it's in India, I believe, had his hand raised for over like 40 years. Yeah. And now the hand is, or the entire arm is dead and withered.
Yeah, and
he's
it's like
pointing.
His shoulder is locked because of like lactic acid buildup and the way his bones.
So his bones just
up.
formed. Yeah, we'll obviously edit this part out, but it's.
Dude would do great at those. Like you have to hold the beer out at arm's length competitions.
I don't think he can grip anymore.
So they tape it. Just Edward 40 hands.
Come on, load. There we go.
That's horrifying.
Mm-hmm. Since 1973, I think it said, he has not put his arm down, and it looks about you would imagine.
That's Gold Mask.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of too.
Yeah,
when I saw him posing up there.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
good for him.
I'm sure it did something.
And if you head to the west of the far west of this area, you can get a good look at the shaded castle in a poison swamp, and you can see Mount Gelmir looking very ominous, and we're not going that direction yet. If you head east, there's a highway lookout tower. This is the other entrance into the royal capital.
It's the main way to get in there.
It's the easier way to get in there. It's not the main way.
I hate that horseback piece of shit.
Yeah.
I hate that boss more than I hate most bosses in this game. And he's a mini boss. Like, he's the worst.
Which one are you talking about?
The one guarding the
main entrance? Like the duo?
No.
There's two horse guys.
There's one horse guy to the...
On the side?
Yeah, on the side, the north side.
Okay, once you get inside.
No. Before you can even enter.
Yeah.
The northern entrance?
Northern entrance, yeah.
Can't remember the map. He's on a horseback, though.
It is
He's
the northern entrance. I remember it.
Okay. I don't have any bosses there.
It's not a boss. It's another tree sentinel.
Yeah.
But he's got like... His attack rate is a lot higher than the other tree sentinel, and it just absolutely wipes me every single time.
Sounds like a douchebag.
He's bad. He's my way into the royal capital.
That was my first way in there.
Yeah.
Fighting that guy.
If we head south, because you actually have to go around this, not into the capital, but there is a raised area just south of the the pit. Mm-hmm. And up there is the Sainted Hero's grave. Out front, there'll be a black knife assassin, an invisible one. He's carrying the black knife used to kill Godwin. And it's a knife with a very cool, unique skill called the Blade of Death. It fires off a projectile, long-range projectile, deals immediate damage and reduces maximum HP by 10% to whatever it hits. And it continues to drain HP as well. It's a very powerful weapon. Holy damage scales with faith, but it's cool to find the Knight of Black Knives, the Fated Knife.
The Draconic Tree Sentinel, yeah.
That guy.
Draconic Tree Sentinel. Yeah, that's inside the capital. That's the capital outskirts, which that's part of Leyndell Royal Capital.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Okay, all right.
Yes, we're not going to go into the ramparts yet. Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense then.
It makes a lot more
I
sense
was like,
to me
how
too.
did you miss that?
Yeah, it's a required guy. You can't get into the capital without
I
fighting
know,
him.
that's what I was saying. I'm like, that's like the only way in as far as I'm concerned.
I believe it is.
It is the only way in,
Yeah. But I hate Heroes' Graves. These are some of the most difficult dungeons.
They are abysmal, and they are not fun, and they are challenging in the dumbest ways possible.
In this dumbest way, you must lure enemies into a light before you can hurt them.
Mm-hmm. That sounds horrible.
Some of it's not bad. It's easy to lure an imp in there. Imps want to. There is a big grave duelist guy. You have to drag him so far to get him into the light, which is required. You need to do this to unlock the door in this. But I don't like this spot. You fight the ancient hero of Zamor. This guy is protecting the resting spot of the ancient dragon knight. Kristoff is the dude that captured Godefroy. Godefroy must have been really hated if this guy was given a big shrine to rest in.
Well, Godfrey's not even liked.
Yeah, no one likes them. Those guys suck. No one. They're the McPoyles of Elden Ring.
We'll call her.
Okay, dude, I'll call her. South of here is the Stormcaller Church. You can get the Dragon Bolt Blessing incantation here. And the greatest Ash of War is in this field as well. It is the Lightning Ram. This is where you roll like Sonic the Hedgehog and you cause lightning damage.
That sounds like your bread and butter over there.
Well, you're just Sonic.
Well, but I got a mimicked here.
Oh, did you hear that Sonic Frontiers is actually good?
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't heard this.
I've heard a lot of reviews.
Really?
I've heard it's good. I watched gameplay. I watched part of a walkthrough. I'm like, oh, I might actually fucking play this.
Way to go, Sonic.
Dude, I mean, no one doubted it. Sonic's been the greatest video game character since he was created.
Ever since he became that werehog, I've just been like, I'm down to clown.
Werehog? More like Herehog, am I right?
Yeah, dude.
Maybe this will be my favorite Sonic game.
That's like a tall order because I have like 50 favorite Sonic games, and I don't know where it would rank in my definitive list of best Sonic games. Sonic Heroes is just so good. Mm-hmm. I love Team Dark. I love doing the investigation mode because Espio the Chameleon's been canonically the coolest.
That's Team Chaotic.
Damn it.
Team Dark is Rouge the Bat, Shadow, and the Robot.
Okay, guys, I think I've been outed as not knowing everything about Sonic. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't know the robot's name, so it's not like I'm any better.
It's not. It has a stupid name. I remember he's only used in this. It's not like Titty Fuck the Bat, who is just like, we're bringing her back.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yep, and there's a dude who's got like the Titty Fuck the Bat wallpaper, and he's like, yes. Oh, more material for me.
I hear the game's pretty good. I hear that they actually know what to do now in future Sonic games to make them better. So
it only took them a long ass time.
There was like a 5-minute Knuckles trailer or something released for it. That was like an animated thing. I didn't watch it, but people's reviews were, how is this the best piece of Knuckles content that's ever existed? Like, I guess Knuckles is just so cool in this like trailer that.
Well, you want to go to Pumpkin Hill and fly around on fucking giant pumpkins. Have you ever played Sonic Adventure 2 Battle?
Thankfully not.
Okay. He just glides and then he searches for treasure. That's it. And it goes bling, 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 bling. It's like a hot and cold game, but you're Knuckles and you're flying around.
Up at the top of this hill, we're gonna find ourselves an ancient dragon. This is Lanciax. Of course, the sister of Fortisax. Everyone knows this. It was said she took the form of a human to commune with the Dragon Knights as a priestess of the ancient dragon cult. Vike was her favorite. I don't know if Vike fucked the dragon lady.
Vike fucked the dragon lady.
I think he did.
Yeah, probably.
Vike was the number 2 to the Elden Lord. We fought him earlier down in Liurnia, but he goes crazy and does the frenzied flame at some point. Mm-hmm. He's like Shabriri probably lured him down there to try and save his maiden, but he was like essentially if Aaron Rodgers were to come out as a conspiracy theorist, like you were our favorite person, Aaron Rodgers, and now you're saying you listen to Joe Rogan.
He does.
Joe Rogan's not a conspiracy theorist. He just sucks.
He enables people like Alex Jones.
He just He just doesn't moderate himself.
And Aaron Rodgers 100% listens to Joe Rogan. He's been on the podcast.
I know. Mm-hmm. I remember I used to think Joe Rogan was cool.
Yeah, I listened to the first hour of that.
He actually used to be interesting,
podcast.
but now he's like, oh yeah, I'll believe you because he's so doped up on whatever fucking like creatine and
he just needs to curate himself.
I watched the UFC.
All he does is take creatine
and sit in those
and take DMT
ice baths.
Yeah, and he just has like ideas. He's like, oh, I'm gonna live forever, and I'm like, no, dude, you're like 50 years old. You're going to die eventually.
I watched the UFC fights last night. Great card, by the way. Very shocking. Good outcomes. I was loving it. But Joe Rogan as an announcer.
How hard did that one person
Fantastic.
punch that one person?
So hard.
Tight, dude.
So hard.
Imagine if they were dressed up as Knuckles and Sonic.
That's even better.
That would have been great.
They should do that, like Halloween matches. Like, and here we have the clown from It versus
Hellraiser.
Big the Cat or Hellraiser.
Speaking of which, they should bring back Celebrity Deathmatch. That shit was hilarious.
They did try.
I remember that.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I know, but I want more.
Because it's a lot of animation for things that are eventually going to become irrelevant.
A lot of claymation.
Yeah.
Because the original was claymation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so is the sequel.
So good.
Crazy. Good stuff.
I loved it.
Few other spots we're going to just hit real quick in the Altus Plateau. If you come out the entrance from the Ruined Precipice, this is the other entrance. This is where you'll originally fight the ancient dragon, Landsax. She'll fly away, though. Here, you'll find the Perfumers' Ruins to the west. And this is essentially just more perfumer lore. You're going to find more omens down here, more omen killers. Perfumers are bad. But you can get the Perfumer's Cookbook and the Talisman and the Omen Killer armor, which is pretty cool.
I did a lot of perfuming.
You smell great.
Thank you.
But next to that is the Unsightly Catacombs. This is where we find the perfumer Trisha. Trisha kind of went rogue, and she decided she wanted to help the Omens and the Misbegotten, potentially by experimenting on them, trying to cure them, but really I think it was just torturing them.
Yeah.
And then while they died, she kind of sat next to their bed. So she tries to paint herself as a hero. I got kind of Mother Teresa vibes from her.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm the most saintly woman. It's like, these people are suffering. Can you just, like, take care of them a little bit?
No, suffering brings you closer to God. Didn't you know that?
Yeah. It's really disheartening because being raised Catholic, Mother Teresa was just always touted as one of the greatest people. And when you find out that she was pretty shitty.
Or that they're all hiding child diddlers, yeah.
Well, and when she was suffering, she immediately asked for medicine to, like, on her way out. It's like, you fucking hypocrite.
Oh, and I hear she was impossible to deal with.
Yeah, I forget the name of the guy. He's like a well-known atheist dude. He had just had like a vendetta to like expose her for the fraud she was. Christopher Hitchens? I think it was Christopher Hitchens.
I think
That sounds like a name I've heard before.
I believe it's Hitchens, yeah.
Yeah. You'll find Trisha down here, which is just a great name too. Perfumer Trisha. You can get her ashes, but she's probably a shithead too. A lot of shitheads. You'll also find... there's some more ruins. There's a carriage. You get a sword. We've done this. We know how these things go.
Yeah.
There is one...
Wow, more asset reuse.
Great. There's one other spot in the Altus Plateau. We're not going to talk about it now because it's kind of a legacy dungeon, the Shaded Castle with the Poison Swamp. We'll save that for our Mount Gelmir discussion.
That one actually has an interesting ending. So,
and it's got a lot of cool lore in there.
It sure does.
Yeah. And that's the Altus Plateau. Overall, very beautiful area. I do love the fall colors. This is also where I started feeling fatigue with dungeons and caves and tunnels.
Because there's just so much more of them, and it's just over and over and over again. If the gameplay wasn't as good as it was, I would have been like, oh, with this. But I do think this is an area in the game that reinvigorated my want and desire. I'm like, I got to see what the capital's like at least a little bit.
Yeah, the capital is where I got real fatigued. I was like, I do not like this area.
The capital was annoying. The sheer exploration aspect of it, though, like the routes you can take, that's what interested me. I'm like, all right, I got to deal with all this bullshit, but I'll tell you what, at least they've given me like this condensed area to really focus on. Like this was the actual design element. It's not just open spaces that I'm running through hoping to find a dungeon or see something.
I think the Altus Plateau has some of the best we've seen so far of bosses and like development story wise. I love the Windmill Village. The Wormfaces,
they're cool.
I remember those moments first time seeing them. And like I'm just not gonna go up to them.
Well, you know they're just like HP sponges.
Yeah,
which they are.
And they gave me Bloodborne vibes. Anything that gives me Bloodborne vibes, I generally know to avoid. True. But I love what they did with this area, despite there being, like I said, some dungeons that they feel samey. And when they have like twists, such as bring these enemies into the light, it's a gimmick. And it's sometimes I'm into it. A lot of times I'm not.
When you, especially once you get past this point, once you get past the royal capital and they introduce other areas, that is when you truly realize it's not just running out of ideas, but this game needed another year in the oven. Plain and simple.
I don't know. I think it's just if people look at it, if people look at it for completionism, it is lacking in creativity and like asset reuse. If you play this game simply as explore some and skip some, I think it's better.
Sure it's fine.
Because then you're not going to be noticing all of the overlapping things.
You're definitely not.
And the pure sense of exploration is amazing. When you come up to a new area, sometimes there's no feeling like it. And then sometimes you go into a tunnel and it's the same tunnel.
It's the same catacombs with the same levers, with the same idea, except there's a gimmick. It's the reason I don't like Breath of the Wild that much.
Yeah.
It's like, remember going into a dungeon in Breath of the Wild and being like, holy shit, this is like a new thing. Or not in Breath of the Wild, like any other Zelda. And just being like, whoa, look at this crap. Like, this is kind of weird. You know, to me, this is the Breath of the Wild of Dark Souls. And I think I really hit the nail on the head with that. I'm like, I feel like I'm getting it, but it's also like, yeah, I mean, it's cool, but tighten it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want there to be less, but I just need there to be less. I need to temper myself to not need to do all of it.
Yeah, but I get like FOMO, like fear of missing out on something.
Yeah, FOMO
so it's
is
like,
the worst.
Man, what if in that dungeon is like a really baller weapon or a nice set of armor or some good ashes? Like, I gotta go check it out.
Because sometimes in this game, you will go through a door and you'll discover a new area that goes on for 4 hours.
That's the part that fucks you up, because it's like, what is going to be beneficial and what's going to give me another dumb shit item?
Yeah. Luckily, the gameplay is good, though.
Well, luckily, the gaining of runes is one of the core mechanics of the game. So even when you go into these dungeons, you know you're still going to get currency. You know you still can use that currency for a ton of other things, which is a good gameplay loop, because then once you gain the other things, it loops right back into the gameplay. I got to a point where I was just like, I almost overthought it. I was just like, this is just not my video game. Like, it's really not. And I love it, and I think it's very good. I cannot express hard enough how competent this game was when I thought it was going to be an absolute disaster. Because this is their first time trying something like this specifically. So I'm like, well, maybe this would have sucked. But I think they went far and away with their quality control. It's really hard to even imagine what they had to do to make what they have work. I said this before about Breath of the Wild, and I can actually say the same thing about Elden Ring. Whatever they do after Elden Ring is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to completely blow people out of the water.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Breath of the Wild. I'm looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom because they're iterating on something where they had a good skeleton. They've really just got to push it harder.
I'm excited for the DLC for Elden Ring too, because I think that they're going to have learned so much from making their big world that when they make a small new world to explore.
You think it's going to be in the Gulf?
Maybe. I imagine it's going to be you get transported somewhere else.
I don't know. It's fine.
That's the way a lot of DLCs work. It's easier than expanding the map. But I'm excited to see what they do. I imagine the DLC won't have a lot of reused assets. I hope.
No, I don't think so. And I think they'll actually introduce enemies into the regular world too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know what to expect, but
I'll replay it around then. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, up next week, I don't know what we have coming next week.
You listen to me talk about God of War for an hour and a half.
The Dogcast is next. Yeah, after this episode, the Dogcast will be next week. The return of Tom and Josh. It's going to be a celebration. We're going to get drunk for that one because Josh will bring 20 beers. And
are we doing that on a Friday?
We'll have to talk with Tom and Josh and negotiate. Hopefully it's a Friday. I think that'd be good.
As long as it's not Saturday.
Okay.
It's not going to be Saturday then.
Or, well, I guess it could be Saturday in the morning. I can be drunk all day. I got a concert that night.
Friday,
what concert?
Gotta get down on.
Social Sig.
Ah, they're coming back.
They never left. They live in River West.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Social Sig, Diet Light, two Milwaukee bands. Diet Light's new album is coming out. There's an album release party at the Cactus Club, and I will be there because I love Social Sig. Fantastic band.
I saw
I heard that's where River Phoenix died.
The Cactus Club?
Right outside. Johnny Depp
The
owned it.
Viper Room is right. Yeah, never mind.
Yes.
Is that where you're going to die?
I hope not.
Oh, God.
Thank you for listening. We exist because of people like you. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to reach out to us at hairthedogcast@gmail.com or on Twitter @hotdogcast. We also have an Instagram. If you want access to episodes way in advance, way earlier, and bonus podcasts, bonus episodes, our after show, discussions on movies, House of the Dragon, Stranger Things. If you want access to all of this exclusive content, go to patreon.com/hairthedogcast. We'd love to have you join our family. Our Discord's great. Our community's great. A lot of good people. And we love all of you. Special thanks to executive producers Ryan Christianick, Tyler Keller, Kip, and Brian Ward. We appreciate y'all.
Sure do.
And we're part of the HyperX Podcast Network. For more information, check out podcast.hyperx.com. Closing thought, Tyler? Anything?
I'm having a lot more fun on my second playthrough.
Yeah.
Super fun. Yeah, I think I nailed my build. So it's unfortunate that God of War came out now because it's gonna take a back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play God of War myself when you're done, and I can borrow it, but it might not be for a while.
It might be a minute.
Yeah, I imagine you're going to do endgame content, too.
Yeah. I bought the physical copy, though, just so you could play it. Normally, for some reason, I always do digital, but I was like,
That's
feels
a
like
wrong choice.
This feels like a physical game to me.
It loads faster on disc.
Did you get the message on Discord that GameStop fucked up and I got 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim for $5 brand new?
For PS4?
Yeah, you posted
Nice
that
work.
receipt, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Dylan saw that, though.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. You're going to like that game.
Yeah, that's one of those things where Dylan makes a recommendation, and I put it off for a while before I play it and realize it's one of the best games I've ever played.
You played it?
Not yet, but I'm going to, and that's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's going to be like, yeah.
Fine, I'll play some near stupid, I'm a robot. Holy fuck.
Changes your mind about all video games.
Sure does.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
Good. I was going to lend you my copy.
We'll see everybody next time.
I'll let Tyler play it.
Yeah.
Tyler has to play weird games.
You need to play some weird games.
If you're a shrewd shopper, it's about to be your favorite time of the year. HyperX will be running massive sales for the holiday season. Get up to 50% off some of our most popular products like the ultra comfy Cloud 2 headset, the tough, responsive Alloy Origins mechanical keyboard, and the fan favorite Quadcast USB microphone. Sales will be going on at all major e-tailers, but be sure to head to HyperX.com and sign up for the newsletter to get the scoop on the biggest deals. Happy holidays from HyperX.